Have you ever had that feeling, that no matter how much you accomplish, there's this secret anxiety that all your success just can't seem to fix? It's like there's a monster hiding in the mist of your own mind. Well, this is a story about a brilliant scholar who came face to face with that exact monster and the incredible way he finally found freedom.
So let's meet our guy, Suzimo. Now, listen to his words here. He really believed his anxiety was this thing, an external enemy that he had to hunt down and destroy with the perfect weapon. But as we're about to find out, you can't exactly kill a shadow by swinging a sword at it. So, who was this guy, Suzimo? I mean, on the outside, he was the poster child for success back in the great Liang Tianxi era. We're talking brilliant scholar, a high-ranking official. He basically had it all. But inside, he felt like he was trapped in this invisible prison, this deep, constant dread that he just could not shake. And this anxiety wasn't just some vague, fuzzy feeling, right? It had faces. He felt like he was always being chased by this invisible monster. Sometimes it looked like a political rival out to get him. Other times it was the emperor's unpredictable moods. Or it was that suffocating fear of losing his parents, and just that general dread about how fragile life is. Now, Suzimo wasn't the type to just sit around and mope. Oh no, he declared war on his anxiety. He was a man of action, and he was absolutely determined to conquer this inner turmoil. He treated his own mind like it was a battlefield, and he set out to find the ultimate weapon. The perfect strategy to win this fight once and for all. And you can just see the struggle right here. He tried every method he could think of. He tried counting his breaths, but nope, his mind would immediately jump to some unfinished report for work. He tried chanting mantras, but then he'd find himself stressing about money. He even buried himself in the books of the great sages, but the more he tried to force himself to be calm, the worse he felt. The key here is that his whole approach was based on fighting it. So he's at the end of his rope, he's tried everything, then he hears about this reclusive Zen master living way up on Mount Zhongnan. This was his last hope. So he makes his long journey, finds the master, and just pours his heart out, explaining every single method he'd tried and how every single one had failed him. The master listens very patiently and then gives him this really strange, almost ridiculously simple instruction. He just points to this thick wall of fog outside his hut and says, "Go into the fog and get the lantern from the dead pine tree." Suzimo, desperate for anything, just immediately agrees and plunges right into the mist, thinking, okay, this must be the first step to some secret technique. The second he steps into the fog, the entire world just vanishes. It was so thick he couldn't even see his own hand in front of his face. He's completely lost, just wandering deeper and deeper into this silent white nothingness. And then he hears it. This coarse, heavy breathing sound right behind him. His blood just turns to ice. He whips around, but he can't see anything, just shifting shapes in the fog. But then, out of the haze, this horrifying figure starts to take shape. It's huge, with a green face, razor-sharp fangs, and it's holding what looks like a steel pitchfork, like it's ready to strike. The monster from his nightmares was suddenly real. Pure panic just takes over. He runs. And as he's running blindly through the fog, his mind starts doing the exact same thing it did with his anxiety. It starts frantically searching for a method to save him. I need a shield, a magic spell, a place to hide. He was right back in the very same mental trap, only this time with a physical monster. After what felt like forever, running in circles, falling, getting back up, he just collapses. He's completely exhausted. He can't run another step. And in that moment of total surrender, this crushing thought hits him. His entire life has been spent running from monsters, whether it was the ones back in the capital or this thing right here. He was trapped. But it's right there, in that moment of absolute despair, that everything changes. Just when he gives up, the world gives him an answer. And it's not a method, not a technique. It's a sudden flash of insight. A huge crack of thunder echoes, and for one brilliant second, a bolt of lightning tears across the sky, lighting up the entire scene with the blinding clarity of daylight. The fog was just gone. And in that flash of light, he saw the truth. I mean, just look at this comparison. What he thought was a towering demon was just an old dead pine tree. The green, fanged face he was so terrified of, just moss and some hanging vines. That terrifying steel pitchfork, nothing more than a few twisted, broken branches. The monster wasn't real. It was just a projection of his own fear onto a totally harmless object. And this
This is the most important part of the entire story. The instant he saw it was just a tree, the fear was gone. Not lessened, not managed, it completely vanished. Instantly. He didn't need a method to stop being afraid of a tree. The fear was only attached to the illusion of the monster. When the illusion shattered, the fear had absolutely nothing left to hold on to.
This whole experience, this lightning flash moment, actually has a name in Zen philosophy, Ji Huan Ji Li. And it basically means to know the illusion is to be free from it. See, freedom isn't some long, drawn-out process with a bunch of steps. It's the immediate result of just seeing things exactly as they are. It is the lightning flash. Okay, so what happens now? Su Zimo has this life-changing insight, but he has to go back to his life in the capital. The world hasn't changed. The political rivals are still there. The emperor is still unpredictable. The real test is what happens next. He went back to the master, who explained the second key teaching, Bu Zuo Feng Bian, which means no need for methods. The master put it perfectly. He said, if you know a cup is filled with harmless water and not poison, do you need to prepare an antidote before you drink it? Of course not. Once you see the truth, all those complicated techniques and strategies just become totally unnecessary. This table just lays out the transformation so well. His problems didn't magically disappear, but his perception of them changed completely. He started to see his political rivals not as these life-threatening monsters, but just as actors in a kind of phantom drama for power. The emperor's mood? No longer a personal threat, just an unpredictable event in the world. And the dread over his aging parents? It became a clear-eyed acceptance of the natural, inevitable flow of life. He was finally seeing the twisted trees for what they were. When he got back to his post, Su Zimo painted a simple picture of a mossy rock and wrote this beautiful inscription next to it, which just sums up his whole journey. To know the illusion is to be free, and in that freedom, there are no steps to take. Once you see clearly, you're already there. And that really leaves us with a final, powerful question, doesn't it? It's easy for us to see Su Zimo's mistake in the fog, but how often do we do the exact same thing in our own lives? So I'll leave you with this to think about. What are the monsters you're constantly fighting, the things that cause you stress and anxiety, that might, just might, be nothing more than harmless, twisted trees just waiting for a flash of lightning so you can see them for what they truly are?